Hey, guys.
Oh my goodness, so excited to be here. Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo / Cinco de Mary. It is my birthday. I've got my birthday balloon. We were able to celebrate today, and what a special day that we get to not only share with our family here, but with you all. And we get to talk about Outlander, episode 511.
That's right. And just so everybody knows, again, I have to reiterate this fact. It is Mary's birthday.
Woohoo! So thank you.
So
Thanks.
happy birthday to
This is
Mary.
like a virtual birthday party where we get to talk about one of my favorite shows on television.
I know, it's kind of apropos.
It's awesome.
Yesterday, well, last night, our children were, I think the proper terminology would have been disaster.
No. Maybe. Our kids were really, really having a rough time yesterday.
Yes.
As many people are nowadays, but especially if you're 4 and 7.
So I'm happy that they were a disaster yesterday, so we could share this whole experience with you, Mary. The whole birthday, going live with the podcast, and doing everybody here being with you. Mary's in need of some love, ladies and gents. She misses humans.
I do.
A lot.
I miss humans so much.
She misses
Oh,
humans
my
a lot.
goodness gracious.
So please chime in. I see everybody here saying happy birthday, which is great. So everybody, please keep saying happy birthday. Give her some well wishes. She definitely deserves it. She needs it. And just give her the love, man.
Oh,
give her the
thank
love.
you.
We have somebody speaking German. That's I'll take that. It looks like German to me. I could be wrong. At any rate, we are here to talk about Outlander.
We are. We are, of course, here on Facebook. We're on the official Mary and Blake Facebook page, which if you are joining us on Facebook, if you could actually hit that share button from the Mary and Blake page. If you're in the Outlander Cast Clan Gathering, that's our exclusive group on Facebook, head on over to the Mary and Blake page for a hot second for us. Hit that share button, whether it's in an Outlander group that you belong to or on your own personal wall, to let other people come in and join the conversation about this amazing episode, and also to let people know about Blake and myself and the rest of Outlander cast. And then if you want to come back to the clan gathering, you're more than welcome to. Let us know in the comments below if you've shared. If you're on Twitter, of course, please reshare that tweet. And on YouTube, feel free to copy and paste that link and let more people come on in. There's a lot more people watching Outlander right now because we're all quarantined and watching things at home. And of course, thanks to Netflix bringing on Outlander this summer, a lot of people fell in love with the series and joined on board just in time for season 5. So let's invite people. Let us know if you shared. And we do have some exciting announcements about our virtual finale party that we will be talking about in the episode.
Yep.
So
actually, Mary, well, right now we have 317 people watching, which is great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yay.
Of course, our goal is to always at least get to 400, if not more. I think the most we've gotten so far is like 425-ish
Okay.
For an episode. So hit that share button. Tell everybody that we're online here. Tell everybody whether you're on Twitter or you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook. Just hit that share button. Give us some hearts, some smiley faces, if you will. Let's see those things. And yeah. Oh, Mary, show everybody your shirt.
Oh, it says tacos are my true love.
And Mary, did you or did you not have a taco cake today?
Oh, I completely had a taco cake. Like, no joke, a cake that looked like a taco.
Oh, yes. It was a real cake, but it looked exactly like a taco.
Like a happy, cute little emoji taco. And it was delicious and perfect. We have tacos for dinner. It's one of the perks to being born on Cinco de Mayo. Your birthday is always a party every year.
Yes, and if you go to the Mary and Blake Facebook page, either now or after this live stream, you can actually see a picture of the taco cake. I shared it on the Mary and Blake Facebook page. It was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
It was pretty cool. I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt today because we were supposed to podcast yesterday on May the 4th. But, since it's Revenge of the 5th, it still
counts. It's still Star
counts.
Wars week.
It's still Star Wars week.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody loves your shirt. Nobody
thanks,
loves my
guys.
shirt. Nobody loves my shirt.
Of course they do, Blake. It's just not as exciting as tacos right now, right?
No,
guys?
no, very few things are. Very few things are.
Amen.
Okay, so if you're new to this whole process, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is when we make a podcast. And this is when we get the whole thing done here between Mary and I. You watching us, this is a fly-on-the-wall experience for all of you guys. You can comment, have the conversations among yourselves, and if something suits our fancy, we will call it out. But really, This podcast is about Mary and I's opinions and how we reacted to it. And as always, this is something that's really dedicated and really meant for the podcast listeners. So this is just for you guys to see what the process of making a podcast looks like in our studio. Good things, bad things, all the screw ups, everything that we do. For the most part, we're pretty good. We've got it down to a science for the most part, but sometimes we get some really big, good screw ups, and you get the benefit of seeing it all tonight. So please have the conversations among yourselves, talk about it, have some fun. It's Outlander time. We're ready to make a podcast. Mary, why do we need 10 seconds of silence?
We need 10 seconds of silence for what is called room tone, which helps Blake in the podcast editing process, but it's really awkward since you're watching it here live with us. So talk amongst yourselves. Let everybody know where you're tuning in from, what your GBGs, your good, your bad, and your greats were for the episode, and I'll be awkwardly quiet for 10 seconds.
So we're going to get that room tone. Everybody have some fun. Let's make a podcast, shall we, Marvin?
We shall.
Let's do it.
Hey, clan, guess what? I got old today. That's right. This episode of Outlander Cast is brought to you by MinuteWithMary.com. But this month, the month of May, is my birthday month, and it's one of my favorite months at Minute with Mary. So first and foremost, if you have not already joined my Facebook group, search the hashtag Minute with Mary and request to join my VIPs. It's called hashtag Minute with Mary Marvelous VIPs. No joke. I'm a real life person. I love to talk makeup and skincare, and I won't bug the heck out of you. I share fun little tips and tricks and videos. But this month, since I'm getting older, I want to turn back time. And my discount, my Minute with Mary discount is all about skincare, because some of us are not putting on a ton of makeup right now, right? But we want to emerge from quarantine looking as fresh-faced as Claire does as she returns back from the Stones. Dang, Katrina Balfe looks so stunning. So this month, I am giving you 15% off my 3 favorite current skincare products. It's my hydrating mask, which is going to feel like you just came back from a tropical vacation of beautiful humidity, and your skin is going to feel so luscious. You can wear it for 10 minutes or overnight. You could even put it on your hands. I'm throwing in my lip exfoliator, so your lips are just going to be kissably soft in case you do come upon a James Fraser in your life, and my cleansing cloths, which, because I'm frugal, I'm going to tell you a tip. You can cut them in half and get double for your money.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's my cleansing cloths, which are amazing. They have all natural oils, my hydrating mask, and my lip exfoliant. It is going to be in a moment at minutewithmary.com/discount. If you're joining us here live, I will put that link in the comments if you would like to see the discount. So minutewithmary.com/discount.
When will you leave?
I leave in a week.
After your mother left me with you in her belly, I never thought I'd see you. But I kent you were there. And I was a husband and a father. And now I'm a grandsire. And even though I may never see any of you again, you have made my life whole.
All the way from Providence, Rhode Island, welcome to Outlander Cast. It's a podcast dedicated to the show Outlander on Stars.
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say goodnight, lassie, on. Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to
Hi, everybody. How's it going? My name is Mary Larson.
My name's Blake, and I just have to wish my beautiful bride a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Happy birthday for my bride, 29
Aw.
again.
Oh, yes, of course it is.
She
Of
is
course.
perfect. She is amazing. She We are, in fact, recording this on her birthday.
We are.
We are a day late in our recording normally because our children were a disaster
It's okay.
last night.
It's all good.
But we're here now. We're here ready to talk about Outlander. And I think I have to say, I'm going to come out of the gates with a smoking hot take.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me. What?
That's what she said.
Oh,
Jeffrey!
hey.
Jeffrey!
Stop.
Come on, Jeffrey. Smoking hot take. You ready?
Yes.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Best sandwich on the planet.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Best sandwich on the planet. You cannot convince me otherwise of anything else.
Oh,
It is the
man.
most. It is the most carryable. It is the most satisfying.
Yeah.
It is sweet and savory.
Yes,
It's
it is.
long lasting.
Yep.
Easily transportable.
Truly.
It's the best sandwich on the planet,
Okay.
and it's very fulfilling.
You know, I do love me some peanut butter and jelly. I'll get on board with you. I'll get on board with you there. Well, of course, we're going to be chatting about the penultimate episode of Season 5 for Outlander. But before we do, Blake and I would love to remind you all that we will keep podcasting throughout Droughtlander in all sorts of ways, whether it's about Outlander or about other things that interest Blake and myself. You can find out more by following myself and Blake at Mary and Blake on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, or by going to maryandblake.com. We do have a lot of podcasts that if you are binging different shows right now, we may have already podcasted about some of the ones that you're checking out. So we would love to keep you company. And also, talking about keeping people company, what are you guys doing next Sunday night?
Because we got some plans.
We got some plans, and even though we can't have you over our house, first off, we probably wouldn't be able to fit you all in our little house in Rhode Island. We are the smallest state, but
In the smallest house.
Yeah.
In the smallest state.
yeah, but you know, in the couple of years past, we have had real life finale viewing parties where we've had people fly in from honestly all over the world. We've had some international friends join us. We've gotten together for merriment, gotten to meet and greet other members of the Outlander cast staff. We've all watched the finale together. And then Blake and I get to have a discussion on that episode, all with banter included by our guests. But of course, it was limited to who was able to come, who was able to visit Rhode Island. Well, then the coronavirus hit, and we had to cancel our finale party. But alas, we had a chance of good luck, and Blake has decided, along with our party planning committee, that the show must go on, and we are having our virtual finale party. So, Blake, break it on down and let people know where they can find some more information if you're free Sunday night.
Sure, just go to outlandercast.com and you'll see on the menu up there, it just says virtual finale party. Just click that virtual finale party button on the menu, and it will take you to all of the details that you need to know for the virtual finale party. But just to break it down here for you, for the podcast listener, yes, we will be watching the finale together with you. As a matter of fact, we're going to try to kind of treat this like the Super Bowl. We're going to treat it like the Super Bowl. We're going to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
We're going to have a pregame. We're going to have a pre-show. We're going to get together here in
Yep.
the studio with us, and we're going to have some special guests
Yes, we will.
can't-
Virtually.
virtually. I cannot tell you who they are and what they will be, but you will be quite excited about them. You should be. It's kind of a big deal. So we're going to have some special guests and some other guests from the Outlander cast staff as well. We'll be taking predictions. And if you want to send us some video comments and video predictions, you can, as long as you're a member of the OutlanderCastClan.com. You can do that there too. So we will be playing those predictions, giving our predictions in the pre-show. And then what will happen is you will be invited to our home theater where
Yeah.
we watch Outlander every single week.
Yes.
We will be here, and we can't show the
We can't show you the screen. So when we say a virtual viewing party, you need to still be able to see the finale episode on your TV or laptop or phone with us. It'll be a 2-screen experience.
Yes. So what will happen is the camera will be fixed on Mary and I as we're watching the show. You'll get our reactions. You'll be able to comment with us. You'll be able to comment with each other and talk with each other because we'll all be live together on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, like how we are right
We'll
now.
plan on pressing play
Yep.
at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for
Correct.
those of you who are watching along live with Stars, hopefully you'll be able to watch it at that point. Those of you who have access to an app, we'll all do a little countdown, 3, 2, 1, press play. Is it going to be perfectly synced? Probably not.
I
Can you
doubt it.
pause it and like figure it out? You bet. Or could you mute us and kind of like listen along on your own screen and still join in with the chatter? You bet. This way, it's like you're all chilling out on the couch with us. We can squirm, we can ooh, we can ah, we can say, Claire, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, you know.
So basically, it's the Super Bowl of Outlander meets Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes.
That's what it meets.
So we'll have the pre-show.
Then we're gonna
Then
have the
we have the
show.
actual viewing
Yep.
where we all sit down on our respective couches, beds, wherever you are, and you're watching, and we're watching it together. And we're chatting. We're like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then after the episode airs, Blake and I will come right back here into our studio.
That's right.
And we will discuss the episode with your opinions. So once again, if you're a member at outlandercastclan.com and you watched the episode earlier in the day, I know several of you watching and listening are members of the clan, you have a really unique opportunity
What do you mean?
to submit a video feedback.
Oh yeah, for OutlanderCastClan.com, you can submit your video feedback. Normally, it's all only just for the co-producers and up. However, I'm going to open it up to everybody for the finale party itself. And we're
Who
gonna,
is a member at OutlanderCastClan.com.
Correct,
Those are our
correct.
patrons.
So you will be here with us. The video comments will be here up on the screen if you're watching us live right now. If you're listening to the podcast, you don't get the benefit of seeing us on the in our studio at the moment. But if you're there with us in the live finale, you will be able to be up there on the video screen with us, telling us your comments, telling us your thoughts about the finale itself. We will also be trolling all of the forums and
Yes.
all of the social media. Your comments, if you're not a member of OutlanderCastClan.com, number one, what are you doing? Number two, fine. Number three, stop
Come
what
on
you're
over.
Number three, stop what you're doing and join.
Yes.
But if you're not, that's okay.
It's totally okay. We still love you.
We will see your comments in the threads here. We'll bring them up too. We'll be talking about them, giving you our reactions, and then we'll have a nice little thank you note and video from the Outlander Cast staff.
Yep.
And then that'll be it.
So here's the good news for those of you who are outside the U.S. and maybe you have to watch the show on a different date. You can still be a part of the pre-show. The pre-show, which is about 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be starting, and that is unspoiled, okay? That's going to be what do we think's going to happen. That's going to be some pre-show discussion with some special guests, as Blake said. So if you are part of our international friends, please know that we would love for you to tune in with us from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and know that the 8 o'clock and on show, the viewing party, and the post show will still be available on video and, of course, our podcast.
Yep.
So when you are able to watch it in your own time, we would love for you to join along and press play, even though it won't necessarily be live. It'll be like you're there with us here. In
everything
spirit.
that we do for the virtual finale party will be available on YouTube and on the various social media, but definitely YouTube. So if you do miss anything for whatever particular reason, I will break them down in terms of pre-show, finale, post-show. You'll see 3 separate videos. and
We
you can
are
watch them all.
recommending that everybody who watches, if you can, if there's flour in your house or you can get some, to make some shortbread.
Yes, that's one of the things. So there are a couple of things that I would like everybody to do.
If you can.
If you can. We actually have
So we can feel like we're all there together.
I know. So what we're hoping to do is create the kind of community that we've always had, as Mary said earlier in the previous finale parties. We're drinking all the same things. We're eating all the same things. We're there together. Unfortunately, now we can't be. But you can eat the same things, and we're hoping that you can utilize one of our great recipes made by Tammy Lish Spencer, one of the Outlander Cast staff writers. Her shortbread recipe. It's all it is. It's flour, bread, and sugar. And you bake it. You can't get any easier
And where
than
can they
that.
find that recipe if they want to check it out? And
You
they're
actually just
listening?
go to the Outlander Cast virtual finale party page. Just go to the virtual finale party in the menu of OutlanderCast.com.
So go to outlandercast.com,
Yep.
click the menu, virtual finale party, and the
And you'll
recipe
see-
is there. Okay.
Again, the recipe is there. Also, if you were one of the awesome people that got the virtual finale party T-shirt, of which there were hundreds of you,
Yay!
literally hundreds, wear your finale party T-shirt.
Yes.
And even if it can't come to you in time, still get one because you're still part of the community. Just
And
go.
if you have any Outlander gear, if you have tchotchkes, if you have Funkos, if you have anything like that, we want to see those pictures. We want to see your room set up, sharing those photos with us on social media on Sunday before and during the show. Also, I think it'd be really fun for those of us who can to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as we travel together and find out where the heck Brie, Roger, and
know.
Jemmy travel to. So if you like peanut butter and jelly, of course, you can make that as well.
And then, of course, we have the unofficial sponsor of the Outlander Cast listener feedback episodes, out White Claw. If you do happen to have some White Claws in the house, if you want to go get some, you want to brave the public, you can. Just go get some White Claws. Man, we'll all drink some White Claws together. We'll have fun.
Or you can have some whiskey, or you can have some tea, or you can have hot cocoa. We don't care what you're having, but we want you to join us. So all that to say, we would love for you to join us this upcoming Sunday for the Outlander Cast virtual finale party. You can find all information by going to outlandercast.com, clicking the menu, and click virtual finale party.
That's right. All the information is there. Everything we just talked about and more is there. So anything you need to know, you can find it there. Marvin, it is though time to talk the penultimate episode. Not the finale, the penultimate episode.
Yes.
Are you ready to get this done?
I mean, I don't feel like I am, but I know that I am. But still, it's a doozy. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So here we are. We are in the penultimate episode, meaning the second to last episode.
Correct. Of the season.
Of the season. Some pretty cool things happened inside the details that I don't always pay attention to, and Blake talks about them. But I'm paying attention this week.
You should. Well, the title for this one is called Journeycake, which is another name for the PB&J referenced sandwich that we had talked about earlier in this episode. It is something they actually physically make by hand in this particular episode, which is actually really cool. The bread, the peanut butter, and the jam. I imagine it would be jam that they were making. Maybe I doubt that was jelly, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, that is another name for peanut butter and jelly. The writer was some lady, Diana Gabaldon. I just knew. I'm not.
Sounds familiar.
Just something named Diana Gabaldon.
You know, the author of the entire book series.
Basically the creator. Well, not basically the creator, the ultimate mover of the Outlander universe. This is actually her second episode that she has ever written. She wrote the famous Murta episode, Vengeance is Mine, all the way back in season 2, many moons ago, the season that shall not be named. The director was Jamie Payne. He has directed 3 episodes of Outlander, including Free Will and The Company We Keep. And, of course, this episode as well. I did look to see who directed the finale. They have not yet announced it. I don't know. If somebody in the comments that are watching us right now, if you give me the answer, I will call it out. Though I don't know who did it. I imagine it was probably Jamie Payne, because they usually do these things in blocks. So he probably did the final 2 episodes.
Okay.
Having that. But it is now time for the Kilt rating. Marvin, I got a feeling your Kilt rating is going to be about a 3. What do you got?
Oh, you know, what a measly episode. I didn't know anybody. No, I give this episode a 5+. 5+, meaning, one of my top episodes, if not my top episode of this season. I think it is my top episode.
Ooh,
yeah,
them's fighting words.
It'll be something that as I rewatch all of the episodes and find those ones that have risen to the top of my rating scale, I'll be able to duke them all out and see which ones really, was the champion. But right now, this one's feeling it for me.
Yes, for me, I have written here 4.85. I've got a feeling, though, I am gonna have some cow pies thrown my way if I go with that rating.
Even by me.
I know. I think I was feeling a little froggy.
You totally were, because as we watched it a couple of times, both times you were like, I really love this. I really like this. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm laughing. Oh. I think the awe was when you saw Lord John Grey.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on.
As did all of us. When I saw this, when I opened up the Google Doc and I saw 4.85, I said, Blake, your Kilt rating is wrong.
Well, when you see Lord John Grey just glistening in the sun with the diamond-like features, all I could think of is...
Say it.
Yes.
Out loud.
By the way, big news.
Okay.
Stephanie Meyer releasing a new Twilight book.
Honey, This is a book that Twihards have been waiting for forever. It's
Yeah.
Twilight by Edward Cullen's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And we read like the first chapter.
Yep. It's called Midnight Sun.
Yeah, we know.
And yeah, I know you know, but I'm just saying for all the other dorks out there that don't know, then
How much Edward really wanted to eat Bella.
yeah, I know. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay.
So I will be reading it. Anyway, so I think I'm going to give this one a 4.9 as a matter
Yeah,
of fact.
that's more appropriate.
I really liked this episode. Geez, God, the back half of this season has been really good.
Yes.
And I might even throw it up there with the back half of season 2. I might even throw it up there with the front half of season 3.
Mm-hmm.
The back half has been very, very good. So
Yes.
I think I'm going to give this one a 4.9. I'm going to.
Nice.
That's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm feeling that for you. Okay, so GBGs, our goods, our bads, and our greats for the episode. And of course, in true fashion, when I give something a 5+, I have to have a GGB. A good, a great, and a best. My good was something as simple as peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny because when the title cards came up, when we got to see Claire sitting in her bat suit, unwrapping with the saran wrap, Blake was like, "Oh my God, is that the bat suit? Wait, she's eating peanut butter and jelly." And he said, "Yeah, don't you remember when Brie made it for her?" And I'm realizing as a book reader that I don't think that was covered in the show.
Nope, wasn't.
So I'm like, "Yeah, don't you remember she made her those?" And he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, Mary." This is when probably other book readers are shaking their heads saying, "Mary, we go through this a lot, so don't worry." But I just loved peanut butter. I love peanut butter. For those of you
Oh
who
my
have not
God.
been around me in regards to food, which like if you're around me ever, there will be food involved. Peanut butter is my favorite thing.
Well, no, all right.
What?
All right.
What?
In or out, tacos being better than peanut butter.
Oh, they're two completely
No,
separate
no.
things.
You got to make a choice.
It's like, do you want to breathe or drink water?
Well, you got to make a choice.
No, you can't.
Yes,
you
you can.
say I have to live with. I can only live with both.
In or out is a great game we play on our other podcast. This is us too. So if you get a chance, we have a lot of great fun with that segment.
So as a peanut butter lover, I was just really excited that this, of course, came into play. As Blake said, it was fun to see them getting the peanuts and shucking the peanuts, and Claire saying, that Jemmy needs to have peanut butter. She'd be damned that he won't be able to eat it. And then, of course, for the family eating it. And I just loved everything about peanut butter. If the peanut butter was in the scene, I was all in. My great was all of the conversations with Brie. Sophie Skelton
Yes.
has really, really become Brie to me. She wasn't always. I'll be real. I wasn't always the biggest Sophie Skelton fan. I just wasn't always the biggest Brie fan. I found Brie to be quite obnoxious for so much of the books. And
Yes.
this, of course, is a point where in the books as well, I've turned. But to see Brie have these conversations with Lizzie, with Jamie, oh my God, with Lord John Grey, with Roger, with everyone, it was interesting because like Brie is the thread right now in this episode. With Ian, she's the one that's like, "Oh, what's going on, man?" Like, it's all the conversations with Brie gave me all the feels.
Sure.
And then my best is Diana Gabaldon.
Oh, okay, great.
Her writing this episode was me making a mental checklist, going check, check, check. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. Let's go. Let's do this. In Diana, I trust. You know how we used to say, "In Ron, we trust."
Yes.
In Diana, I trust. You want to throw me for a loop right now? Oh, let's go. We're on the Diana train, so
Sure.
take me along on this time-traveling crazy ride, lady. She did a wonderful job. I felt like the characters were so pure of who they were in the earlier seasons. I think all of the acting was spectacular, and I think that was because especially they were given such an amazing script by this beloved author. So
Sure.
what was your GBG?
Well, I want to say one thing, actually, about what you have said about Diana Gabaldon. Diana was not present in, and this is not something I'm making up, this is something that they said in the Outlander after the show with Matt and Meryl. Diana was not with the writers when they broke the episode. And when you break an episode, or when you're breaking story for an episode, that means you're figuring out, okay, we have X amount of things to get to. We know that we want to start here and we want to end there. Okay, what are the events that have to happen to get to the end from the beginning? And they look at the season as a whole, and then they look at each episode and how each thing gets to the final goal of where they want to be. What Diana did was write the episode. So
Yes.
she didn't say, okay, guess what? Roger and Bree are going somewhere. She was told, okay, this is what we're doing. We want you to fill in everything in between. And she has some say in what happens, obviously. And she
makes it beautiful.
And what she does is provide the screenplay for it. These are the things that are said. This is the tone. Well, not necessarily this is the tone, but this is the tone that I'm going for. Is this in agreement with what you have established when you broke the episode? These are all of this is all the dialogue. This is the flow. This is the pace. She had created all the stuff in between the major points of what they tried to get to. So that is the difference of what Diana did as opposed to what was taking place with all the writers at the beginning of the series or when they were breaking the story. So I just wanted to say that because it is relatively confusing for somebody. So a lot of people will say, how could Diana switch X, Y, and Z from the book? She wrote the book. Why would she change that? She didn't. It was what was established by Matt and Tony and all the writers prior to the season being shot and filmed.
She made it magical.
But she made it magical. She gave it the Diana touch, which she definitely did.
Yes.
The humor, especially Jamie.
Jamie is so funny.
You know, reading the first two books has given me an entirely different perspective on James Fraser. Not necessarily that he's a better character or whatever. It's just a difference.
Yes.
And when you say Diana wrote the episode, you can tell.
Yes.
Because that character trait of Jamie, I don't want to say goes missing, but it's definitely not highlighted the way that it...
Because it's a subtle thing.
Yes.
It's not like you'd say, oh, what is the top 3 traits of James Fraser? Like, that's humorous wouldn't necessarily be one of the top 3 things you think about when you're describing this character to, say, a coworker or whatever. But it's definitely one of his traits that can be, you know, snuck in. And you're right, she's able to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you enjoyed that. So what's your GBG?
So my GBG is this. I know, sorry, it's just important. I want to make that distinction for people.
I'm loving it.
So, okay, my GBG. First, the good, tie. I have a tie. The first good, is Bear McCreary.
Yes.
Bear McCreary this season has been very subtle. Very, very subtle with all of his themes. It hasn't been... in your face this season, which I can't tell if I like or I dislike.
It's been a lot of reminding you of themes of the past.
Yes.
It's been a lot of like pulling in those themes rather than creating new themes. We don't have necessarily a ton of new characters that he's establishing tons of themes for. There's no like new love interest or whatever. You know, we have our Jamie and Claire theme that we get to hear every so often. We have the Bree and Roger theme that we get to hear. We get to hear the time traveling theme come in and out.
Sure.
And you know, he had so many references, of course, at Elements with music back from previous battles. So he's been able to work with the repertoire that he's already had in a very smart way. It reminds me a lot of John Williams. You know, you watch the latter movies of Star Wars, and you can sit there and you know, my kids and I were just watching today The Force Awakens, and it's like you hear the slightest bit of the Force theme.
Yep.
You know, which a lot of people at first associated just with Luke Skywalker when we first saw, you know, A New Hope. But really it was the Force.
Yep.
So that's what I was thinking about Bear, especially in this episode, you know, when Claire is telling Ian, you know, what she really is. You got to hear the Stones theme.
Right. And you got to hear Frank's theme too.
Yep.
With Bree.
Yes.
You got to hear Frank's theme. You got to hear Willie's theme. There is a lot of subtle things in this episode, and Bear again has been very subtle this entire season. But one of the things that he has done in this particular episode, which I haven't really heard in Outlander, even in the first 5 seasons, is he uses these bells. If you go, I wish I had an example for you queued up. I don't. I wish I did. But he has these bells. You can hear it at the beginning of...
Was it when they were touching the stones? When they were touching the opal?
Yeah, it might have been. I think it was when they were touching the opal.
It's the sound of these bells is to make you feel uneasy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why I know that sound, and the reason why it's like close
such
to my
a Bear
heart.
thing. Yeah,
it's such a Bear thing, like bagpipes are. But it's because he used those bells a lot in Battlestar Galactica, and it's one of those sounds
which Ron Moore created, and Bear McCreary, of course, was once again the composer for.
Correct. So when you go back and you listen to it, if you're a BSG fan, you hear it, you're like, oh my god, it's like an immediate like download, like the Matrix in your
Yeah.
brain. You're like, oh my god, BSG.
Yes.
Go back and listen to it. You'll hear these subtle bells. And maybe later on, I'll put up a song of
Yeah.
BSG that has a similar
Okay.
bell. Okay. But the other part of it is following up on promises made at the beginning of this season, the writers, and like lighting the cross. It was talked about at the beginning of the season. Here it is at the end of the season. They're doing it.
It's almost like you could have forgotten about it.
Right.
You could have forgotten it was there. It's like when you have a fire alarm installed in a building and you're like, just in case for emergencies.
Yep.
You know where it is. You walk by it every day.
Yep.
And then because you've walked by it so often, you know it's there.
Right. And then Bree and Roger, in quotes, leaving. Where they're going, we don't know, number one, but they go to the Stones. That was promised at the beginning of this season. Finally giving us repercussions of Dr. Rawlings, where like, coming up and finally delivering on
Freaking Fergus.
something that just kind of went the way of the dodo for a while, and now all of a sudden, here it is again. And then all of these things being delivered on for this episode. I really appreciated that. The bad.
Oh my God, but you're such a nitpicky about this bad, so I can't even believe that you only gave it a 4.9.
Well, there's a couple of things that I
Okay.
was going to mention, but first, the bad.
Yeah.
Just glossing over Ulysses. Like, oh, guess what? We have a solution. Like, here you go. You're going to England. And it's all done off screen. It's, he's in the sex shack and that's that.
It's so embarrassing. Oh, you were in love with her? Let's put you in the house where she and Murtaugh banged. Oh, man.
So they glossed over it, and it was like, okay.
I don't think they glossed over it.
They
I think they
did.
gave him a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he was referenced again with Lord John Grey. But you're just saying, because I don't feel like they glossed over it. You and I felt bored with the Ulysses.
Well, yeah, I
part.
was bored, number one, but also too, like it was like an afterthought. Now I know that they don't have a whole ton of time, but this is a big deal. A black man killing a white man at this time, who technically is free, but could be considered not. Like it's.
That was the one part of the episode that you and I were like, eh.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of meat on that bone if they really
Agreed.
wanted to get into it. Like that's a
Agreed.
big deal what happened.
Agreed. And, it's something that they touched upon a bit more in season 4 was the differences of people of different races in this
Sure.
time frame in North Carolina. And I will say, it's touched upon a lot more, of course, in the book. So I think that they did what they could with him in this bit. Of course, an incredible actor. And of course, we find out that he's in love with Jocasta, and that's why he stood by her even as a free man.
Well, we don't find out, but we can allude. It alludes to the fact that he was in love with her. But the other bad, the one thing that actually really stood out to me in this episode was the editing. The editing in the season has been iffy. But in particular, this episode, there are 2 instances where Jamie is walking out of the big house and he's meeting the Lionel, the brother.
Yeah, the
and
brown. Yeah.
the random brown jabroni, and he goes out there, and as he's walking out, he crosses his hands behind his back.
Yeah, he puts his hands behind his back.
And then they go to the next angle, and it's Jamie walking out of the house as opposed to, from the front as opposed to the back. And you see Jamie again, and once again he puts his arms behind his back, and it's like, dude, he already did that. What are you doing?
Yes.
And then there's another scene at the dinner scene where Jamie is telling a story and he's talking, and it like
With peanut butter?
with peanut butter, and it dissolves from him sitting to all talking and laughing, and then it dissolves to him standing in like a totally different angle.
Oh,
like
okay.
it was really weird, and I'm like, what are we doing?
It's so funny because if Blake didn't point these things out, I would have never noticed.
Yes.
This is when you were like, oh, editing mistake, rewind it 10 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even notice it. But then once I saw it, I see what you're getting at.
All right, and finally, my grade. I have a tie. showing the passage of time at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, with the seasons.
It was very Twilighty with all the different seasons. I loved it. It was all I could think of is there's a possibility.
Well, and for Jimmy having grown so fast so quickly, now of course he's
Right.
he's stayed put.
Yeah,
He's
right.
stayed put, so he looks the same, so we're good.
And then finally, the best part of this entire episode, the thing that actually really puts this into overdrive for me, is momentum. We have momentum, ladies and gents. This is something that I've complained about for the past 2 seasons in the penultimate episode. I felt like the past 2 seasons, nothing has happened.
in the penultimate
episode.
Whereas not in this one.
And this one, we got some real
We
fracking
got
momentum.
multiple streams of
Jamie
momentum.
Literally is running
With a
with
flaming
a
torch.
flaming torch to light up a wooden like you cannot get any more forward momentum than what we got.
Mm-hmm.
And going into a finale, that is exactly what you need.
Yes, you need to be lit on fire, and Jamie did that for us.
Yes. So I will say
Diana did that for us.
she absolutely did. And you know, the decisions that were made in the process of it all. I mean, the whole episode had good forward momentum. We'll get into it, but just the momentum of it all is what makes me very happy. And I was like, okay, I get it. Now we're talking. Let's get to the rest of the episode.
Awesome.
Let's do it. What do you got?
Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Cat's out of the bag. Ian.
Yeah.
So he's playing with the opal.
By the way, I just
What?
have to say this.
Bam! Just like that. A winner!
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh,
I
man.
called that.
You know, it's so hard because sometimes you come out with these outlandish theories. They're like spot on the nose. And then you come out with other ones that are so wrong. And I have to react the same exact way. It is very difficult. But yes, yes, Ian finds out that many people who he knows and loves are actually from the future.
And you know what? The kid handles it really well.
You know, for a young lad who traveled from a mere, estate and farm in Scotland to being thrust into the Mohawk tribe in the New World prior to the Revolution and then going back home with his family, he rolls with the punches pretty well.
And the way...
And he was captured by Galus. I mean, let's be real.
Right. Bloody freaking Galus.
Let's be friggin' real, okay? This
Yeah.
kid's probably like, oh, sure. Yep. No prob. Got it.
And, I...
Didn't you want them to also be like, and Galus was too. Sorry about that.
I know.
We probably should have warned you before to stay away from the crazy person.
Actually, one of the things that I quite liked about all this, because it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? Ian took it pretty good. As a character, for him to just take it, it'd be a little far-fetched for me. Even Murtaugh just taking it as the way that he did. Like, I remember him being like, whoa. I remember that scene in season 2 where he's like, they had to put the numbers on the paper for Murtaugh. And they're like,
Yes.
wait, you're all the way from here?
Yeah.
That was very believable. And I really liked that. In this scene, it's very believable, not because of how they explain it to him or his reaction to it. His reaction to it, but it's how he takes the information and processes it for himself. Oh, wait, timeout. Like, yeah, I know you've been interesting, but this all makes sense now.
Yeah.
And by the way, can I do it too? Can we fix something that happened between a man and his wife?
Yeah.
And that is believable to me. That is absolutely believable to me because it gives him a good organic reason to want to believe in it, number one.
Yes.
And accept it as a reality, number two, because it makes his reality more bearable. We still don't know what happened with he and his wife. We still don't know if... I got a good outlandish theory about that. But
Just do it.
No-
Just do it.
okay, well, you know what? Fine.
We're here.
All right, we're doing the
We're
outlandish theory.
chatting Ian.
All right. Ian
Yes.
did something that killed his wife by accident. That's the reason why he's so, totally gone about her and upset, and he doesn't want to admit the fact that she is dead. He may not know that she is dead, but he interprets her as dead or missing. So he has done something to put her in a position where she is either missing or dead, and he doesn't know her fate. So he just acts like she is, and that's why he wants to go back and fix it, because it's his fault.
Interesting.
So I'll take the interesting.
Okay.
I'll take the interesting.
I'll give you an interesting.
So what else? Did you like the fairy comment?
Oh, I loved the fairy comment.
Yes.
Because, of course, that's something that's referenced, obviously, throughout so much of Scottish culture, but even, of course, was way back to season 1. The people where Jamie lived, like, this is something they believed. They talked about the stones and that magical fairy things would happen there, that this was integrated into their culture, that there was some magic and mystery. So I do love that Ian was like, oh yeah, I know, you're a fairy. Like,
Yeah.
no problem. Not going to the witch angle, going to the fairy angle. And then, of course, how easily he can talk with Bree about it.
Yeah, and because they've always had this kind of relationship where it was since day one. It was just they were contemporaries. It wasn't Auntie Claire, it wasn't Uncle Jamie, it was Brianna.
Yep.
And even though she kind of came in, Brianna came in, late in the game, they had this kind of connection between the two where they could be real with each other. And it's a cousin style of relationship where it's like cousins are your family, but they're not like your family. They're your buddies, and I like that. I've always felt that way with my cousins.
Okay.
They're your buddies.
Yeah.
And there's someone you can trust and you can talk to, and you can make fun of your parents, too, and that whole thing.
I wasn't really close to my cousins.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Sorry about that, Mary. Forgot about that.
Thanks, babe. I didn't know I had cousins until I played against them in field hockey, and I was like, "You have the same last name as me," and they're like, "Yeah, we're your cousins."
Oops. Mary's family relationships weren't all that great.
Oh. You just don't go to the same prep school as us. That's really what happened. You go to public school.
Anything else about Ian you want to get into here? How they give him the land?
Oh my
How
gosh.
they give him all the land?
Thank goodness, because if Roger says to Ian, "Hey, can you do me a favor one more time?" I'm gonna smack that man. Do you know what Ian already did for you?
Right.
But yes, can you do us a favor? Can you take us with the horses? We're gonna be going for a pretty long trek, but just so you know, we want to give you this land. And I love how he says, just watch over it for us.
Sure. And it goes into what that relationship between Ian and the rest of the Frasers are, and how much they can trust him. I loved when he asked Jamie and Claire, "Did Myrta know?" And he's like, and Jamie says, "Yeah, he did. He understood. And guess what? Now you do too." I just felt that was one of those great familial moments that helped solidify the connection between Ian and the rest of the family. Something that I think is desperately needed. This episode is one that absolutely invests in the relationships in this show and gives them the gravitas and the due that they are that is well earned. With this episode, it cashes in on a lot of the goodwill that has been created as a result of fixing a lot of the relationships that have either gone wrong or didn't get enough of their due in season 4. This episode absolutely follows through with that, which is something that's great. Anything else you want to talk about with Ian?
When he goes up and he touches those stones. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you just feel him want to cry.
Yeah.
Wishing that for a moment he could do something. And how many of us have felt that way, about real things in life, but like, maybe I could do that too. And you fall flat on your face. Goodness me, that just punched me in my gut. That's one of the things that was so amazing about this episode, due to Diana Gabaldon's amazing writing, was, we really felt these highs and lows, and we had this humor, and we felt just utterly dropped in these moments. So yes, Ian, farewell.
I like how he gets the information from Claire and Bree too at the river. By the way, setting for this show, we talked about it last episode. for Mercy Shall Follow Me. Setting for this show has been phenomenal in these past few episodes. The setting for the conversation between Ian and Auntie Claire and Brianna is impeccable. A rushing river, a rushing stream behind them, creating tension and hazard and bringing things out of focus. It is the waves of the future running away from Brianna and Claire and Ian. Ian unable to escape the flow of the river and unable to escape the flow of time. He can't go back. What a tremendous setting for this conversation.
Agreed.
And not only was it thematically important and symbolically important, it was visually beautiful as well.
Agreed.
The way that it was shot. Something really, really
God,
great.
can I just say, Roger's memory of the stone circle from when he was like stumbling and bumbling by himself being chased. Good memory, Roger. Good memory. So can we move on to the next by Ian,
Yes, let's
aka
do it.
by Fergus?
Oh, abso-freaking-lutely.
At least Fergus got to say something this episode.
Finally.
It was really, Jermaine, why are you outside? It's dark.
Yep. Fergus has one thing to say, and then they're like, oh, look at that. The still's on fire. Hey, Fergus, go figure that out.
Poor Fergus.
Oh, hey, Jermaine, what's going on? Oh, Mom got beaten up. Fergus, go figure it out. Poor kid.
Seriously.
Bye, Fergus.
But of course, you know, it's important for him to be a part of this family. But really, let's be real. The person who we need to talk about is Marsali, because Fergus has nothing to do right now.
Oh,
Poor
my
thing.
goodness.
Marsali.
Marsali's pregnant again? Dude, what are we doing?
She's doing Fergus.
Marsali, close the legs. She's doing Fergus.
Bam! Just like that. A winner!
Touche, Mary. Bringing the heat on your
Got
birthday.
You.
I love it.
I got you.
I love it.
Marsali is pregnant again with another bairn on the way, and is helping Claire in the surgery. Still relating surgery and bones to how she takes apart an animal. And girlfriend takes a hit while she's pregnant.
Dude, she got smoked. She got smoked. Like, and
KO'd.
not only did she get smoked by the guy, she got smoked by the ground. A lot of the time when you get hit,
Yeah.
you know, it ain't the hit that knocks you out. It's when you hit the
It's the
ground that
floor.
knocks you out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they did that in real. I don't know how they did that, how they filmed that.
But it was
But-
a believable.
But Lauren Lyle, I mean, hit with a thud. I mean, it was like that. That was
Agreed.
the end. And you know, poor Jermaine. I mean, seeing all this thing go on and just hiding under the
all
the
he wants
table.
is peanut butter and jelly. That's all this little man wants.
And we were right. You know, random Brownsville log carrier kills random Ridge log carrier, which was fine.
Okay.
If you don't get that, go back and listen.
Hodge
to the,
Pile, red coat.
Yeah. Whatevs.
What do you mean, whatevs?
He's a log carrier. He's gonna die.
You know what I hate?
What?
I hate that guy that spits.
Yeah, the brother. He's
Yeah.
just spitting constantly.
Especially now, I'm like, Claire just needs to tell him, please stop spitting.
Mm-hmm.
Your germs are disgusting.
We don't need the Rona. Go away.
How do you feel about the Browns? Let's just get into like
I'm
the
out on the
negative
Browns.
aspect of
I'm
this.
out.
Well, you can't be out. Okay, they're a problem right now.
I'm out. I mean, they're a problem now, but it feels manufactured. It feels like they're getting and this is one of the problems that I have with this part of Outlander. They're constantly trying to separate Claire and Jamie, and they have to. They have to because it makes the story interesting. You know, once you kill off Stephen Bonnet, you have to do something to put tension into the air. And
Yes.
how you do that, how you effectively do that, if you've already done that with Bree, is now you move on to Jamie or Claire. One of the two. One of the two that you really care about. And you have to separate them. And you have to create some kind of rescue mission that is obviously going to happen. And obviously Claire is going to get rescued by the end of the season. So it's frustrating that at the last minute, this is what they do. We're separating Jamie and Claire. And look, it's the Brownsville log carriers that come and kill random Ridge log carriers, and we take Claire. And I get the symbolism and I get the urgency for Jamie wanting to rescue Claire. I get the urgency of like, okay, he didn't light the cross at Alamance. He didn't light the cross when in all the other parts of this season. But when it comes to Claire, this is what he's doing. Mm-hmm. We're going to war. We're going to get the Browns. Mm-hmm. But it just feels manufactured. The guy just happens to see the Dr. Rawlings.
So you know how I feel about the Browns?
Yep.
You know, like what we call our Satan neighbors.
Yes.
Okay, so we got these
exactly.
I hate
them.
So we have these neighbors who just really, really, really rough around the edges. They just like to get people riled up, and they do not care. They have 0 Fs for what you care.
Their Fs account is on overdraft.
Their dog somehow got into my yard, which is perfectly fenced in, but it got in through
dog sucks.
It was chasing my kids around, and I had to go, and I had to be like, listen, your dog was chasing my kids, and the dog then bit me. And they're like, sorry, whatevs. And they love to blare their loud cursing music right into our yard. They're not friendly. Mm-hmm. They're not nice. They do things that are really rough and tough, and we've had several neighbors who have complained about them. So a couple years ago, Blake and I have this rhododendron bush in our front yard that is on the line of like us and another neighbor's property, and our other neighbor cares about this rhododendron bush a lot. We don't really care about it, but whatever. So shortly after a couple of altercations where I may or may not have reported the Satan neighbors to animal control because their dog was left out in the heat, barking incessantly without any water or shelter, half of the rhododendron bush was suddenly chopped off. This is a giant rhododendron bush.
It's bigger. It's taller than me and like 6 of me wide.
And just chopped off on our half of the yard. Like gone. Like if you took an orange and sliced it in half, that's what our rhododendron bush looks like. Land the plane, Helen. I think of the Satan neighbors like the Browns. Like you don't mesh with them, okay? They're really off. They do some weird stuff that you don't even want to know about.
Wait, what does the rhododendron bush have to do with any of this?
Because I think it was the Satan neighbors. I think they know. I've been calling animal control on their dog. That's what who else would it have been?
A landscaper?
No! A landscaper? No. All he has is a lawnmower. Why would he have cut up half of a rhododendron bush? I think it was the Satan neighbors. Because I was getting after them all the time. Can you please have your kids turn down their music? Did you know your dog chased my kids? Whoop, animal control's here again. It must be that tall freckled lady who tried to ring our doorbell, but our dog bit her. I think it was them.
Yeah.
And I think of the Browns like them. I think of them as these people who it's like, you just don't know what they're willing to do.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I'm not going to lie.
They're going to go cut your rhododendron bushes.
If we have to stay home really long, that's who I'm worried about is going to try to come in our house and try to take our shortbread cookies, okay? like there's always those people where you're like, I don't dig their vibe, and I don't know what they're going to do. So as much as you say, like, I don't care about the Browns, we all know a Browns. Mm-hmm. Ours just live diagonally behind us.
The Browns suck. The Satan neighbors suck. It's a whole bag of suck. And, suck.
I'm just saying, you can't trust those. But you know what I'm saying? There are those people who just do crazy things and they just like lose it. And you're like, how the heck did that happen? We all know. We see about them on the news. The Browns are the people that you see on the news. And you're like, these people are real. That's the Browns.
Just out there.
That's our neighbors.
Walking around, making decisions. Well, you see, the thing with the Browns, getting back to the actual point of what we're getting to here.
I'm just saying, you were like dismissing these Browns. And I'm saying there are Browns in real life.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so, all right, we're here with the Browns. It is what it is. They're the ones who capture Claire. It is what it is, okay? It happened. Have they built... Okay, so... A lot has happened in this season within a 11-episode stretch. A lot. I actually cannot believe how much has happened in this season.
Especially these last 2 episodes. You and I have both been like, so much has happened.
Mm-hmm. A lot has happened. But, I mean, since Murta, like the Battle of Alamance.
R.I.P.
I mean.
Raise a glass.
Dude, seriously, raise a glass. I mean, really, just... a lot has happened between Stephen Bonnet, Roger getting hanged, the Battle of Alabama, all of it. Have they built up to the Browns enough? Is this this final conflict between the Frasers and the Browns a legitimate thing in your eyes as it relates to the story? Not because of the books, but because the way the television show has presented it. Is this a legitimate thing to you?
Yes.
How come?
Because the Browns have been there this whole season, just like Bonnet's been there.
Yep.
You know, they've been sprinkled in. We have had the Browns. The Browns are that freaking pebble in your shoe where you're like, oh yeah, that's still there. I still don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're at the Battle of Alamance and we're losing Murtaugh. We've got all this stuff going on, and oh god, the Browns suck, man. They shot that guy in the back, and you stepped on Claire's tool, whatever, and you forget about them. And Roger's almost dead, and this and that, and then you bump into the Browns again, and they have earned their right to be villainous people in this season.
I don't know. My sense.
Just you wait.
Good one, Mary. I appreciate that one. Where is it?
Here comes the General Washington.
You're welcome for that one. My sense of it is, I get why they killed Stephen Bonnet in episode 10.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with it.
They got the Satan neighbor Browns to deal with.
I still don't agree with it. I think if you wanted this whole thing with the Browns, they from what people have been saying, they have been really playing with the book timeline as it relates to the show, pulling things from future books and pushing things back and whatever. They have the right to tell whatever story they want to tell. And of course, thematically, it makes sense that Jamie is lighting the cross at the end of this season because that was what was promised at the beginning of this season, and it makes sense that the Browns are the ones who are.
But here's the thing. Let's lay it all down.
Okay.
This whole season, in the beginning, Jamie had to get a militia to protect people. Okay, but granted, it was from Governor Tryon and everything enabled. Now the Browns are saying, we need your help to pretty much do the same thing because people are going around burning people.
Yeah.
Jamie says no. Okay, so you got this double standard going on where Jamie expects people to show up for him, but he won't show up for his local people from the Browns' perspective.
Sure.
Then you also have the Browns who want to defend their daughter's innocence, their daughter who they may feel like could have been coerced. Yes, she says she's in love with this man, but took away their daughter's innocence.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie wanted to kill Stephen Bonnet. So it's this
Absolutely.
interesting foil that is interwoven, and they bring these points up so much in this episode. So even in the times that we're not with the Browns, we have actions that are much in line with the Browns going through Jamie's life.
Absolutely. So when we talk about antagonists and villains, your protagonist and your antagonist have to want the same thing. They have to. They have to be in competition for the same thing. And in this case, I think the Frasers and the Browns are in it for their safety and their honor. They're both fighting for the same thing. It's just a question of how those things get achieved. Is one person more right than the other? Is Jamie more right than the random brown log carrier Lionel? I don't think so. And this episode makes great light of that. In fact, it hits you over the head with how similar yet different the Frasers and the Browns are. I just wonder, the Browns just haven't been there a whole ton.
I would disagree.
They've been there a little bit. They were there for the Battle of Alamance. They were there in Brownsville back in episode whatever. But that's it. That's all we know about them. I don't even know the guy's name. I think it's Lionel. I don't even know
Lionel.
I don't even know the other Brown's name.
That's okay.
I don't know. I don't even know the other the brother. I don't even know his name.
You don't need to. That's the thing.
No, but you do need to. If you need to have.
You don't, because Claire and Jamie didn't see these people as a threat. In the show,
I think I would
feel
disagree
like
with
Claire
that.
and Jamie find these people, not intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
People that, they don't really want to associate with, people that you can't trust, but they're not concerned about them that much. They're worried, of course, about their own family, about the own situations going on in their lives. And because of that, they don't see them as a legitimate threat to themselves.
I don't know. I think I disagree. I think we learned that Jamie was respectful of the Browns and respectful of how dangerous they could be in that random Brownsville episode, where he made a deal with them and He knew that you didn't mess around with them, and he knew how important they were. So he had to bring them in on the march to Alamance. I kind of disagree with you that they disregarded them, but even if Jamie and Claire did disregard them, we still as viewers have to know about them. You can't just throw them into the pile.
I don't think they're thrown in the pile.
Okay. No, I mean, that's fair. I think it's a good argument. It's a good discussion to have.
And I do love that this is how, of course, the Dr. Rawlings things is now thrown in Claire's face. We've had that sprinkled in also throughout the season. And I think that this is what's really interesting, even way back to Jocasta's wedding. We hear the little, and I read this thing about Dr. Rawlings. And because isn't that where they're talking about it, where the two ladies, or are they talking about something else? They talked about Dr. Rawlings. Oh, in the Brownsville episode, they're talking about it there. Weren't they also talking about?
They talked about it in this episode.
Yes.
When
she's helping
the
her
log
with
carrier
the
wife,
wrist. Yes.
Yeah, says broke the wrist, and if you don't have sex until the final 2 weeks or whatever it was, or you do have sex but it's not in the final 2 weeks, you're not going to get pregnant. So basically, don't have sex. Clearly the guy's pissed off about it, and it's Dr. Rawlings who did it. It just feels like, okay, we need to separate Jamie and Claire. This is how we get it done. The Brownsville log carriers take her, and because they see the box.
Well,
but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of that, can we just talk about, because we're here now, and I think this was the emotional crux of this whole episode. Something that I've been begging for is a real scene between Bree and Jamie.
yes.
And it's the reason why I played it at the beginning of our episode. I understand that they had the great emotional hug between Claire and Brianna, and there was the great scene between Lizzie and Brianna, but I really feel like the real emotional through line here is Jamie and Bree. And how that even relates to the Bree and Lord John scene. How those things... How those two scenes coalesce. Don't go breaking the iPad, Marvin.
It's okay. It's okay.
Swish and flick. What do you think about the Jamie and Brianna scene?
Oh, I loved it. Obviously he knows she needs to go, and for him to talk about how Claire left with her in her belly. And how all he wished is that she, had a good life, and now she's been here, and he's also been able to meet her in real life, been able to share with her the fact that she has a brother, and also now he's been given the gift of being a grandfather, that it's just, made his life whole. Oh
my God. And
all the feels.
And talking about that through the lens of knowing that he can't be with his son either. Like, he not only is he losing his daughter, he's lost his son.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't get them back. That's it. That she's made her decision. She's going back to the future, where roads where we don't need roads where we're going. And Willie's off in England, and he's doing whatever the hell he's doing, becoming the ninth Earl.
Yes.
The ninth Earl of whatever. Ardsmuir or whatever. I can't even remember what the hell
he's
it is.
He's in Hellwater.
But he's the ninth Earl of wherever he is. It's a big deal. And Jamie, I think one of the things that works to the advantage of this season is that we haven't had enough time between Jamie and Bree. But I think...
Ardsmuir?
Ardsmuir. Yeah, that's what it is. We haven't had enough time between Jamie and Bree, and that's by design. And this scene is what highlights the fact that we haven't had enough time between them, meaning... You can feel the dread in Jamie's voice. You can feel how upset he is when Bree says, "I'm going," and you can discern the fact that Jamie just can't let her go yet. He doesn't want to let her go.
Oh.
He hasn't had enough time.
Look, people are correct to think Arsmuir is a prison. I'm like, Ellesmere.
Ellesmere, yeah, sure, Ellesmere, whatever, something mere. Okay, stats for nerds.
Ellesmere.
Oh
my God. And Highwater is where they live. Can I just say, how the hell old is Lord Dunsany that he just passed away?
Oh, yeah. He's like 1 billion years old.
How old is he? For real? Like, wicked old, man. He's got the elixir of life going on.
He had a few minutes with Mary.
I sure did.
That
sure
skin
did. It was that hydrating mask.
By the way, go to minutewithmary.com/discount. Get your hydrating mask and look as good as Lord Dunsany.
You are too
Hey,
much.
here's something that
Okay.
that actually Jamie brings up to Lord John. He says, Bonnet, got what was coming to him. He died by drowning. That means he doesn't know that Brianna shot
Yeah.
Stephen Bonnet.
Wow.
Talk about that for a minute. Like let's wrap our brains around that. Like either
That Bree
either
and Roger have kept that to themselves.
that feels like something that they would do,
Agreed.
and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because that's like we said, it doesn't matter what Brianna was thinking. It's just that we know that was her decision, and whatever the reasoning behind it was, that was it, and that's personal to her. Jamie doesn't have to know. That's really that's really cool. Like I like that choice. Either Jamie's lying to Lord John, which I don't see the reason why he would, or he simply just doesn't know. And I'm willing to go as far as saying he just doesn't know.
Lord John, who once again brings the best friggin' gift. How long has he had that in his pocket? He's been here for so long, okay?
Oh man!
And is like, oh, by the way, now I'm gonna give you this
I'm
gift.
gonna drop this bomb on you.
Because this is what I do. I actually have like a trove of gifts at my house. And
just have
each
a
time I
stock
come, I
just
just
waiting.
like pick one, astrolabe, beautiful portrait of Willie. Can we just stop for 1 second? Because Blake and I have both forgotten. Why the hell is Lord John Grey here?
Right. Like, what was he doing?
Why
Was he
is-
just like there?
Why is he in the colonies again? Okay, because he was in England, then he went to Jamaica, and
Then
then
he
he's
was
in Wilmington.
Wilmington.
Okay, but like, why has he been here for so long again? Aside from wedding commitments, he's been here a really long time away from his family. Like a really long time.
Yeah.
Sorry, darling and Willie. Yep, wedding season got me booked for another 2 years. Someone else just got engaged, and you know me, I've got this trove of gifts that I must go through before I leave.
A lot of people have talked about having a Lord John spin-off series. I love Lord John, especially as David Berry portrays him. I just don't know if Lord John is capable of helming his own series on Stars. I would like to see it. I would like to see, I haven't read the novellas, obviously, but at least based off of what he has been given within the show, it would have to be very interesting.
Yeah.
You're looking at the camera like something's going on.
Oh, people keep saying that Lumos is playing with my balloon behind me, so I'm
Yes.
just trying to.
I know.
Lord John Grey does a lot. So if he were to have his own spin-off series, I think it would be quite interesting.
I would like to see how it happens. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And of course, there's this thing that David Berry has said his last episode of Outlander was the latest one, that he's leaving Outlander. He apparently said it on Instagram. The way that the article was written and the way that he wrote it on Instagram, to me, it doesn't sound like, oh, he's done with Outlander. It was, he's done with Outlander season 5. Like, he'll be coming back in season 6. There's no way they're investing this much time into that character and then just saying, all right, see you later, goodbye.
You gave your gift this season, now leave.
Yeah, like, there's no way that's happening.
That's literally, he was like the friggin' genie in the lamp. Boop, what do you need? Did he ever show up without having a gift to the season?
No, he always had a gift. Every time, whether it was the wedding, whether it was like just like random stuff, he always had a gift.
I want to invite him over.
I want to invite him over. I want the gifts. I want him here just for the gifts.
You know those friends who you're like, damn, they're good gift givers.
And for the hair bows. I want the hair bows.
Can we talk for a moment of sadness?
Sure, yeah.
Smothering deaths.
Oh, yeah, that opening scene.
The burnt house.
The
We've-
gratuitous is the was it gratuitous for you? Too gratuitous, like the
charred child?
the gore of it all. Like, was it too much for you just for the sake of being too much, or did it hit it right on the head? What is the point of that scene to you? What are we getting out of this?
There's danger in these parts. That's what you're getting out of this.
Yeah,
And I think that it was obviously a big important moment for Roger, who was able to do this mercy kill. And he insists that he do it, not Jamie. But I do think that in this episode, it is very important because obviously for most of this episode, things are pretty good. You know, aside from the Browns, like things are pretty good. We see people fishing and they're making peanut butter and they're having family dinners and they're, you know, digging an outhouse. Like, you know, it's just family stuff on the farm, which are some of my most favorite moments at the Ridge. But the truth of the matter is that this is a very dangerous time.
Sure. Yeah.
Roger has to suffocate a burnt child.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And like
This family was killed inside their house and then burnt inside their house, and he has to take the life away from a dying child.
my question.
And then he finds out that his child can be saved from this time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he wants to
time
get out
time
of here.
to go. It's too
Yeah.
much danger. I get why they leave. My question for you in this whole thing is, yes, it shows you, I think, that Roger is now more capable of handling the time and he's willing to do the things that he needs to do because it is such a dangerous time. He's becoming more acclimated to it. However, why the hell are we suffocating this poor girl? Why ain't you just shoot her? They got guns. Like, you're suffocating is a horrible way to
it
die.
would be loud. It would be loud, so if there was someone dangerous nearby, and you'd waste a bullet.
Yeah, well, they were
too, you
saying
know, there's-
hello. They were screaming out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just
That's really, I don't even know. But I found it quite interesting that, of course, like the previously on Outlander, we get to see Jocasta attempt to be smothered to death by Forbes.
yes.
And that was like a murderous way of killing somebody. And then we have this smothering death of Roger having a mercy kill for this poor burnt child.
Yep.
And I thought that it was very interesting to have these two alike ways to die, but one in a murderous way and one in a way that is being kind.
Yep.
But yes, I took it as we need to be reminded how in this episode we need to be reminded that Roger and Bree know how trying these times are and they want to do what is best for their family. Remember, Bree just shot and got to see her rapist, finally brought to justice. But
Yep.
this is a very, very dangerous time for their families to be brought into. Of course, as much fun they have, Roger is not great at this time in life.
Sure,
I
sure.
love how he's like, oh yeah, we'll find a job for me that I don't need to shoot or fight or do anything like that.
Part of me, my interpretation of this scene, and especially with random brown log carrier having his leg injured, because they talked about the arrows in the dead people in
Yes.
the house. Part of me feels like the Browns were somewhat responsible for the burning of the house.
So of course the Browns then mentioned this, as they ride on up, they say, oh, we've heard
Yeah,
things and we've had issues. Have you seen anything like that? And of course that's when Jamie brings up, well, actually, we just saw this Dutch family that was burned. And I forget if it's Hodgepile or someone else who says, oh, well, we think it was the Indians.
right.
And
That's the
Ian
thing.
steps up and says,
No, they wouldn't
have done that.
Yeah.
And Roger, they were all like, no, we don't think it was. Even though Claire found the arrow,
Right.
they still, as like the Ridge people, they still in their guts feel like, no, something isn't right.
Right. And talking about the Satan neighbors. The Satan neighbors are the one who burned the house down. Definitely. And the reason why I say that they're the ones who did it is because they need to legitimize this peacekeeping, whatever the heck.
It's like
group
whoever
they are.
smelt it dealt it.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey, have you guys seen any houses burnt down? Maybe with like kids burned on the outside? Anything like that?
Anything at all? You
Eh?
sure? No? Okay, good. I just making sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Just want to make sure.
Well, they have to legitimize they kind of remind me of The Watch almost. You remember that in season 1? The Watch was the one who was there, like, taking care of business.
Yeah.
The same thing goes for the Satan neighbors. We're definitely calling them the Satan neighbors from now on. The same thing goes for the Satan neighbors. These people are there to legitimize their existence with this peacekeeping commission that they've created, and they have to cause terror in order to legitimize their authority within the community. So I think it's the Browns who did it. That is another outlandish theory of mine.
Do you want to know something?
What's that?
When Lionel came up and Claire was like, that wound's festering, it reminded me of Snape when he's coming in the scene where they have the troll and he like quickly takes his cape and covers his wounded leg.
Yes.
And
You're a
Harry
wizard,
stares him
Harry.
down and Snape glares at him like, I've done nothing to do with
Yeah.
this. You know, so there they are like, oh, yeah, there was this burnt house with all these Dutch people. And the guy's like,
man.
oh, I hurt my leg a couple days ago.
Right.
It's like Snape. Cover that up.
All right, we are at an hour 12 here, so we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
But I do want to talk
Let's talk about sex.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
That was aggressive.
In a good way. In a way that has been needed this season. So here is Claire.
That was aggressive.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that something was going to happen to her. Like, listen,
So she was going to fall
I thought
out.
she was going to fall. Like, there was going to be a rope.
Trust in James
There was going to be
Fraser.
a rope that, like, came and, like, ripped her down. Like, you know, one of the Satan neighbors saw her.
Did you
and-
see the wind billow up in
Oh,
her
yes,
sweaty
I
curls?
did. Oh, yeah, I did.
Because you know she's got, you know when you get really sweaty in the back of your head sweating and she's just like, I am feeling everything right now. I'm going to feel hot, cold, and all sorts of things in between. I love how she just went over, put on the perfume. There he is asleep. Still got his socks on.
Yep.
Just chilling. She wakes up hot. What a great use, too, to show that the non-aging Katrina Balfe is, in fact, aging
yeah.
as Claire,
Right.
that she's now going through menopause, of course, and having these hot flashes. And just a beautiful moment. But I'm not going to lie, the next morning when they showed the scene of the ridge,
Yeah.
I was thinking, imagine if someone was walking outside right then to go pee. And there's Claire.
It'd be like, Ian, Auntie Claire.
Just hanging out of the window. Like she's flying. Like she's Rose from the Titanic, but upside down.
She is a fatty.
How does she do that? Oh. Jamie can do it. Jamie can hold on tight. Loved
man.
that moment and loved how it was just woven in, where it wasn't, you know, so much of the early portions of Outlander in their coupledom, you know, was so physical, which was of course luscious and yummy to watch and interesting in their relationship. But the physicality between Jamie and Claire is important, and I think, for example, in the stable in the barn, you know, we got this rush of passion, but it felt so weird and it felt so off. And we need to have this reminder that this is one of the things that bonds Jamie and Claire in a very unique way, in a very special and sensual way. And I just loved this scene, and I loved how it was fluid. Even though it was like, holy smokes.
Right. Well, we have Vicky Johnson here on Facebook saying that's a typical take from a man. From me, that was aggressive, and I have to address this. No, I don't care about the sex part. That was great. It's very erotic. It is very sensual. When I mean aggressive, I mean it was in a window.
I
like,
would not have let you done that to me.
No, I wouldn't have done it to you anyway because it's a
Your
freaking
hand's
window.
so sweaty. I would have slipped.
You're a wizard, Harry.
She's just having a hot flash. Like,
You know, like there's sweat and there's
No.
just, you know, there's things happen. No, I mean it was aggressive
what a
because of the
bungee
window.
cord. And of course, what we get from that is the sperm scene.
Yeah, right.
You're missing all these little nuggets. That's why I'm just bringing them all in.
No, I'll take it. Keep on.
And I love how
keep on
Claire's
going.
just sitting there with her cup of coffee.
Like, come on.
And Jamie's like, look at, you know, I pictured them having teeth. And look at these handsome tails. I love how proud he was speaking about them, not even knowing that
Not
they
even
were
know it was
his.
his.
And she collected them that morning. And how he asked, whose were they? What was she going to say? Once again, another gift. Who'd she get the new lens from?
Oh, yeah.
Lord John.
Lord John, best gifts ever. I saw somebody here in the comments say Sir Gifts a lot.
Yes.
That is the new shirt. That's the new shirt, ladies and gents. This coming out tomorrow. Lord John, Sir Gifts a lot.
Oh, so good.
Oh,
So good. So
man.
there they are. And now Jamie understands how seed actually
How seed
look.
works.
And it's really interesting that we do get to learn all these little bits of biology through Claire that is not necessarily known throughout this time.
All right. Any other thing that you want to get to that we got to call out here?
I just once again loved the music that Bear kept interweaving through. Oh, I did really, really love when Bree and Roger were sitting down formulating their plan after they've now found out that Jemmy can hear the stones. Not only hear the stones, but he freaking broke an opal.
Yes, absolutely. An opal that was supposed to show Ottertooth if someone was holding it. You know, it has this great, you know, power about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a big deal. And in the show, they're alluding to the fact that Jemmy was able to break the opal because he is the product of two time travelers. And because of that, he is such a powerful time traveler that he has the ability to do something of
Yes.
that nature, which kind of plays into my next outlandish theory that we'll get into in a little bit. It's people are taking it as proof that he is Roger's child. Do you buy that?
Yeah.
I kind of buy it.
I mean,
too.
because it didn't, Claire's had this opal all this time. Other people have touched this opal, and then Jemmy finally touches it, and it's hot. And the buzzing comes from the opal. They're not near any stones. They're not near some magical little pool that Galus wants to jump inside of. It's an opal that they've had around them this entire time, but somehow Jemmy's touching it brought about this time-traveling magic bit to it. So, really interesting to see that all take shape. And, of course, as Bree and Roger are sitting there formulating their plans, discussing, okay, we can go to Boston, and we need to make sure we say goodbye to everybody. I loved how Bree was saying, okay, you can be a university professor. That would make sense to people. And Roger says, yes, keeping to the truth as close as possible. Bringing back Frank.
Yes.
Bringing back Frank and his reference to Claire in episode 2, where Claire, of course, is getting Sassenach wasted as she's in Castle Leoch, and she's trying to stick to the truth as much as possible, talking about how she was visiting her family in France or something like that.
But bringing it back to Frank.
Bringing it back to Frank, because then we have all those flashbacks with Frank saying, like, remember, when you're being interrogated, you need to try to stick to the truth as much as possible. And I loved how this line was just interwoven, that this was a skill he also taught to Bree.
That is 2 Whitneys in a row. 2 Whitneys in a row for good old Frank. That is awesome. Great job, Mary. Mary's bringing the heat this season.
Hey.
You're bringing the heat, man.
That's what happens when you get a little older, wiser.
Oh, man. All right. Anything else you want to get to?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. I know that we've been on here for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
So-
rush us, but we're already at an hour 19.
Yeah, so of course we are going to have a second episode this week, and of course the finale. There's a lot to get through this week, and I loved it. I want Diana Gabaldon to write in season 6. I tell you what, but she needs to finish her book, and now she has a broken shoulder.
I know.
Poor thing.
She's got all
Bees
messed up.
can't catch a break.
Nope, cannot. So, all right, you ready to get to the Outlandish theory?
Oh my God, you still have one?
I got
Okay.
I got tons of outlandish
Yep.
theories. You know how much stuff happened in this episode?
Yes.
It's like, how can you not come up with a kabillion outlandish theories? All right, let's do it.
Where the hell are Bree and Roger? Is
So-
that one of them?
So we have avoided the big Megillah here. What the hell happened to Bree and Roger?
WTF, mate.
What the hell happened to Bree and Roger? Where'd they go? What happened to them? When did they go?
Wherever it is, Jemmy's excited. I think it was an ice cream truck that he saw. Yay! By the way, why are the ice cream trucks still going around?
Right? We have an ice cream truck, 3 of
Ding,
them.
ding, ding. Come here, children. Come on over. Don't wear masks.
It's only a little bit of Rona.
oh, my goodness.
Why is the ice cream man a 1920s newspaper salesman? It's only a little bit of Rona. Come here.
I don't know, but I'm like, stay away. Stay away with your sticky doors. Anyway, so, yeah, we've got everybody all tied up, holding on to their wee gems.
Yes. And
They travel through the stones.
they go through the stones, and this
And
is what it is.
the rope gets broken, which is freaking scary, man. But thank goodness they're all still together. Jemmy, I woke up. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he's super excited. Bree and Roger turn around, flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted. Where the hell did they go? When did they go? And what the hell's happening here?
I'm hoping it's Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
They just see so many dinosaurs.
Dino DNA.
Here's the thing: they're not going to be in Dino Land. That's not going to happen. There's no chance.
They don't have the CGI budget.
No, they don't. We learned that with the buffalo. Hashtag not great, Bob.
So awkward.
Not great, Bob. No, they're not going to be in Dino Land. My guess is this: they don't go anywhere. And they don't go anywhere because throughout this episode, throughout the season, but particularly this episode, but throughout the season, running theme for Brianna and Roger is, what am I doing here? What's my point? How do I exist in this time? And this is made even more clear when Brianna is looking at little Jemmy interacting with Grandpa Jamie. And they're at the horse, and he's showing him the horse and
Who's
everything.
holding the horse in that scene, by the way?
I don't know. Some
Looks like a person with a burlap sack on their head.
It's a random Ridge log carrier.
I don't know if it was Lizzie. I just couldn't see. Yeah.
So the way that I see it is this. What's my purpose? And what Bree, I think, subconsciously realizes is that her purpose isn't necessarily to be an engineer.
Let's just hope it's not 2020.
I don't think that is the case. Although I have an idea about that too.
He has a mask.
But yeah, I know. Welcome to 2020. Here's Baby Yoda. Here's a White Claw, and here's a mask.
And murderous
Go.
hornets.
Enjoy. And murder hornets. I saw a great tweet the other day that said, you know what? The murder hornet subplot, not great this year. I could deal without it. The A plot line, the Rona, that's the one we should be sticking with. The B plot, the murder hornets.
Anyway.
Let's just take that out. Okay, sorry.
So land the
So,
plane. Sorry, I'm distracting you.
you are distracting me. So
Land the plane, Helen.
there you go. All right. So Bree and I think Roger subconsciously see, especially after the conversation that they have, you know, I didn't have grandparents, you know, and Roger's like, I didn't even have parents. I think they both subconsciously recognize the fact that their purpose isn't necessarily to be a professor or an engineer or whatever. It's their purpose is to be with family. It's their purpose is to fulfill their love of family and give Jemmy something that they didn't have, that they wanted, and couldn't get in their own life. And I think subconsciously that is where it's guiding them. Yes, they can go to the stones and go through, but the stones, because of their subconscious efforts and their subconscious wants and their needs and following through. We talked about this at the beginning of the episode. They followed through on promises. They followed through on things that they brought up at the beginning of the season. They're following through with this. What is my purpose? And my purpose is to be with family. And the stones spits them back into their own time. And Jemmy sees one thing and why he's running to him. And there's a reason why they open this episode up with Ian playing with Jemmy with the opal. It's number one, to tell you that Jemmy is a time traveler. But number two, it's to show you that Ian and Jemmy have a good relationship. One that's good enough that he would see Ian and run to him and say, oh my God, blah, 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 you know. And Bree and Roger are like, wait, what the hell? Like, I thought we were going back to the future.
GPS is broken.
Yeah, this GPS sucks, guy. What is this, The Office? You know, like.
So how about this? What if Jemmy was thinking about the horse or Ian? Because it has to be
absolutely.
about
That's
who you're
also,
thinking.
And
How can they all?
And that's possible. And another thing that's possible here too is, again, Jemmy is the product of two time travelers.
Like they should have whispered in Jemmy's ear, like disco and traveling to the moon.
all the brown.
Oh my God, bell bottoms.
Yes, so much bell bottoms.
All the brown. You're right. Bree wore a lot of tan.
Another supposition here is Jemmy is the product of two time travelers. As such, his ability to time travel,
He trumps them.
his ability is greater than Roger's and Bree's. And what he understands as his home, what he thinks about as home, is the Ridge. It is Uncle Ian. It is Horsey's. It's all of that. So you could suppose that he's the one who guides them back.
He was gonna be pumped. Claire.
Yep, she's gonna be happy.
Oh shucks.
But I wonder how Roger.
Oh, actually, she's not home.
Oh yeah.
She won't know. Sorry.
Oh man, that's funny. So I think it makes sense that they're going to what?
Just picturing them, they're 2 weeks away. If they come home, it's going to be like Home Alone.
Yeah. Mom?
I wish
Dad?
my family would disappear.
Where are you guys?
Because they're all going to be gone looking for Claire. Come on.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
You're welcome.
All right. We gotta.
Let's
Oh
end
yeah,
this
we gotta
puppy.
close this bad boy out. All right. So my outlandish theory. What are you giving it?
What is your outlandish theory?
That Jemmy was the one who brought them back, and that
Oh,
they're fulfilling their purpose.
Interesting.
Okay, fine.
Mock me.
Please hang up and try again.
All right. Final thoughts.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this finale. I'm pumped for the virtual finale party that all you are going to be coming over to and joining us, whether from afar or nearby, virtually. It's going to be amazing. Once again, outlandercast.com. Click on virtual finale party on the menu bar, and you'll learn more.
For me, the final thought is this. This episode could have been a really sappy episode, and it wasn't. And it wasn't because they made a really good point of putting the focus on Roger and Bree and them saying goodbye to everybody throughout the entire episode. It was something that it was perfectly laid out throughout the beginning, the middle, and the end. And having them potentially spit back to where they are is an excellent choice in how they're going to have to deal with that. How are they going to explain the fact that, nope, ain't going to Boston, we're coming home? That's a big deal. So I liked the episode because it was ordered properly, and the emotional through line was intact. And the emotional through line throughout the whole thing was Roger, Bree coming to grips with who they are, what their purpose is, and saying goodbye to the Ridge, even though they're probably going back. And I really liked that. I thought that was great. So
I wonder what they told Joe Casti. You know how you just left Jemmy everything?
yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry. You should have thought about that.
All right, you ready to get out of here?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
We want to, of course, thank you all for tuning in to Outlander Cast for this penultimate show discussion episode and let you know that, of course, we will be back this week.
We will be back this week. If we missed anything, please let us know in the comments and in the conversations that we've been having here. We'll be back on Thursday or Friday, depending on how our kids are reacting to... Oh, I'm sorry, Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how the kids are reacting to all the stuff. It'll be the listener feedback episode, and it is all about what you have to say. So if you hated what we said, if you loved it, tell us. If you want to make fun of us, do it. If you want to tell us how great we are, do that too. We'll be here for you, ready to take your emails, your voicemails, your Facebook, Instagram comments, your YouTube comments, your website comments. All of it will be featured on the next listener feedback episode. And by the way, make sure you go to outlandercastclan.com. For those of you who are watching right now, in about 10 minutes, we'll be doing the After Dark show. It is absolutely one of my favorite shows to produce in all of the entirety of Mary and Blake Media. It is of course, its foundation is Outlander as of this very moment, but it's really just a personal show that Mary and I do that is an extra episode of podcasting from us that you guys get at outlandercastclan.com and is one of the many perks that you get. So if you're listening to this on the podcast later on next week, be around for the After Dark show. If you're watching us live right now in 10 minutes, we will be doing it. So go to outlandercastclan.com, become a member there, and not only watch the After Dark show that's going to be happening, but you get your video comments featured next week.
Oh my gosh, so excited for the video
in
comments.
our Outlander Super Bowl
Yes.
live extravaganza, if you will.
Speaking of OutlanderCastClan.com, truly this is what keeps us going. It was what keeps the podcast afloat and the website afloat. So we truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts, especially during times like these. So thank you to all of our patrons at OutlanderCastClan.com, but especially to our most generous patrons, our associate producers, Angie, Candy, Carolyn, Celine, Christine, Dawn, Diane, Jeffrey, Jennifer, Karen, Lindsay, Lindsay, Marilyn, Mo, Patricia, Rita, Stephanie, and Valerie, as well as our co-producers, Amanda, Anley, Barbara, Dana, Jennifer, Keelan, Meredith, Raynell, Sharon, Tina, and Whitney. And last but certainly not least, our executive producers, Anne, Bobby, Dee, Eliza, Jen, Joanne, Katie, Kirsty, Martha, Nadra, Peg, Sarah, and Siobhan.
By the way, I want to call out, we always have a goal here of getting over 400 viewers in our live feed. Right now, actually our highest was 470.
Ooh.
Right now we're at 436, so but our highest was 470. So I'm really happy. You guys are sharing like wildfire.
One of the best ways that you can actually share is screenshot if you're on your phone or your iPad. Take a screenshot of what you're watching right now and share it in your Facebook or Instagram stories and tag us at OutlanderCast to let other people know that if they enjoy Outlander, that they should come on over and join the conversation and possibly check out our podcast.
Go to MaryandBlake.com. Check out all the great podcasts that are there. Search us on social media, just Mary and Blake. Check us out, man, especially during Droughtland. We got plenty of stuff coming along in the way, including our Crown podcast that we'll be doing. We got some other things brewing.
Outlandercast.com has, in addition to podcasts, amazing blogs. We have a talented blog staff from all around the world helping create content all season long and throughout Droughtlander. So even as we're approaching, yes, I just said a swear, Droughtlander, even as we approach it, know that here at Outlandercast, we are going to continue to bring out quality content to you in all sorts of ways. And a big thanks to all of our Outlandercast staff near and far. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you so very much.
Marvin, I got to say one thing and one thing only.
Tell me.
Happy fracking birthday.
Oh, thank you.
My beautiful bride.
Thank you.
I don't know what I've done in this life to deserve you, but I got you.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
You're just the best.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in on my birthday. You know, this is my first birthday that I've spent podcasting.
That's right.
I did spend the birth of my daughter watching Outlander.
Yes, you did.
Hey, things coming around full circle. So thank you very much. Once again, my name is Mary.
My name's Blake.
And you've been listening to OutlanderCast. Hey, everybody on our live feeds. Thank you so much for tuning in. As Blake just said, the After Doc after party is going to get started at OutlanderCastClan.com. We started up in about 7 minutes. We all go and grab a little snack and a little beverage. OutlanderCastClan.com. If you're not already a member there at the Klansman level or above, we highly recommend that you come on and check it out. Honestly, if you just think about how much you spend on a cup of coffee, that little bit really keeps us going, keeps up our abilities to keep everything going for the podcast and the blog. So if you're not already a member, OutlanderCastClan.com, the Klansman level and above, gets you access to the After Doc episodes. We continue the conversation there. We chat about all things Outlander and Blake and I.
Cat butt.
And our cat Lumos always joins us for the After Doc. So on that note, we're going to close things up. Thank you once again for staying here. Thank you for hitting that share button from the Mary and Blake Facebook page or retweeting on Twitter or sharing the link on YouTube. It means so much to us to help get the word about OutlanderCast out there. So I hope you guys have a great night. Please stay safe.
Thanks, guys. See you later.